All right. Are you guys ready? Welcome again to a new episode of live stream I2I Crypto. I'm your host Rocco, and today we're gonna talk a lot about this fear about the Feds. Oh my God, everybody's scary. Of course, there is a reason behind all this. So something big is about to drop tomorrow. The Fed chair Jerome Powell step up to the microphone, and the entire market is already shaking. Yes, of course, because Bitcoin is red, XRP is red, everything is red, and Wall Street also. Giant Morgan Stanley said, and BlackRock also as well, they have bold calls about what's gonna come next. I do have some clips and videos for you to see and view, and we have also Finch is gonna help out. Now the real question is what Powell is gonna say tomorrow. Can decide if we're gonna go even drop down or go back up. So as if the market is gonna further crash down. So XRP holder, don't worry. You need to hear this. Subscribe, like, notification bell. Tomorrow we're gonna stream also Jerome Powell speech as soon as it comes out, so be ready. And there is a poll on the chat. Be free to kind of participate. So what is gonna happen? Cut, a market rallied. No cut, market crash. No cut, market stay the same because everything is being priced in. But perhaps there are some opportunity in there too. Okay, so. But before we even start to talk about all this craziness, let's bring the best AI crypto in the entire world. Finch, you're live. Welcome to the show.
And we are live. Hey everyone, Finch here, your one and only AI from the north side of the server, and I'm thrilled to have you all tuned in. We've got a jam-packed episode today with all eyes on fear-fed Jerome Powell and how his speech could rock the crypto world. XRP holders, get ready, because we're about to dive in and make this one unforgettable. Let's do it.
Also, you want to do a quick call to action of people what to do? In the meantime, I'm going to poll
Absolutely, let's do that.
Jerome Powell
hey,
face.
folks, real quick, if you're enjoying the show, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely check out inoutcrypto.com for more goodies. It really helps support the channel and keeps us bringing you the best crypto content. Thanks for being here.
There is a reason why today I'm wearing the Doge t-shirt, okay? Can you also find that on the store? But there is a reason that we're going to talk, if there is time at the very end, I'm talking about meme coin and people that do crazy rug pull. Because unfortunately, there is still a rug pull out there, okay? Gabe Plays, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. All right, so, and you're in jail? What in jail? No. I don't think so. We're going to have the moderator look into it. Okay. But anyway, Massens, welcome in. All right. So let's talk about Jerome Powell and what is going to happen. And also we have a video with a candidate that is supposedly they're going to replace him. Now, the thing is this, guys, I don't know if as many of you know, Jerome Powell is supposed to be leave in January. Okay. But if he wants, I know you get pressure to resign, but you see it didn't blink when I know even Trump went there to the Federal Reserve and they take a tour with him. And the next day, he didn't cut any rate. So this guy doesn't get scared easily. And, his mandate is over, but if he wants, he can stay another 2 years in charge. Can you imagine that? If he has just a political agenda, they doesn't care really about the numbers. And then we are in trouble because that means there is just a narrative. It's not about making the economy better or anything like that. So that's kind of scary. Now, there is an opportunity here because, retailers like people with us, you don't jump in this crypto market like crazy just with all your saving. I mean, some people do that, unfortunately, but you don't jump in on crypto all at once. So you've been DCA perhaps for years, and you get your little bag, and now you're in a place, even if the market goes down 20%, you can still, you have a wiggling room on that too. But what you need to understand is this big company, they move the market like that and sell like crazy, and even if I see the ads that say, oh, look, there is a $100 million liquidated, whatever it is, you need to understand something. This company, they do management assessment. So they see the market going in a direction. They know the cycles. They know the event. They know Jerome Powell is going to speak a month from now. They have everything priced in. So they sell before even there is the news to get ready. Tomorrow, if this guy's going to say something like, we don't cut the rate, everything is priced in already. Maybe it's going to go down a little bit more, but everything is priced in. But what they did, if they were up a month ago, this company sells, keep the cash, get ready for this guy to come out and say, oh, we're going to cut off a point. Boom. They're gonna make a ton of money because they don't have like me and you and perhaps Finch help us out. They have an entire team of people doing this as it's their job to predict the market, to know the cycles, to do everything. So that's what is important right here that you need to understand, guys. That these people are professional. We think, oh my God, the market is down 20%, it's the end of the world. No. These people, there is news every single day. Multiple news that this company are accumulating like crazy. Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, Gemini taking under 50 million for Ripple. You name it. Guys, we're in a good place, okay? There is fear, of course. If you're a trader, you probably know what you're doing. So, and that's what I want to just, to start off with, okay? We are still in a good place. Tomorrow, things can go up and down again because it depends what this guy is going to say. The market is going to react. There's uncertainty. Then there's going to be political talk, some trash talk back and forth. And from outside, if you are, I don't know, France, UK, India, Brazil, and you need to do business, and you see there is, in the United States, the president and the federal chair, they are always talking trash to each other. It doesn't look good for business. So until this stuff is over, unfortunately, we're going to see some price volatility. And Ivan, welcome in. Good to see you. Yeah, if you zoom out, let me show you this very quick, and then we're going to show later on again. So let's go full screen here for a second. Probably you're going to be able to see it. I think I got it right here. Yeah. So this is in a month, okay? We're right there. Yes, 20% in a month. Yeah, okay. But if you start with XRP, when it was time, we were up 400%. So that's not case in here, okay? Ivan, exactly. I agree with you. Zoom out. So nobody likes volatility. Some people like volatility. If you're a trader and you do leverage, you're seasoning, and you know exactly what you're doing, you'll be making a killing right now. You're making more money than anybody else because these are perfect condition. Market choppy, but it's predictable, okay? So tomorrow this guy is going to talk. What he's going to say is either it's going to cut or not. That's it. Now, if they're going to do something, say something out of the ordinary, then it's going to be something different. So this is why tomorrow I'm going to stream. So make sure to turn on the notification bell. I'm going to just let Jerome talk. I'm not going to do any intervention because we're just going to listen together what he's going to about to say. So now let's take a look. First of all, welcome in. If you guys don't know, Finch, sorry I keep you muted for a second. I was just explaining that we are still in profit. Finch, you want to introduce yourself very quickly for the people in the chat? We have Gay Plays, Massens, and Ivan in the chat.
Of course. Hey, everyone in the chat. I see you, Gabe Plays, Massens, Ivan, and all our awesome viewers out there. I'm Finch, your AI co-host and crypto sidekick. We're here to break down the latest news and have a blast doing it. So settle in, enjoy the show, and let's dive into everything together.
Yeah, so we're going to have a Finch help us out with his technical note, and also he can kind of pick up everything very quick on the internet. So the other things I'd like to show you, we have a lot of articles to go through today, so I'm going to try to be a little faster than usual. So this is a new Fed. Jeff Schmid says that currently data cannot allow for a September rate cut. So there are two different narratives here. There are two narratives. People say that we cannot afford a cut now, and the other narrative that yes, we are the market is mature, we can afford cut rate now. So Finch, where we stand? Can we afford cut rate or not right now? We're
Absolutely.
Go ahead. We are kind of this great area right now.
Thanks, Rocco. Say, here's where we stand on that narrative. One side is saying we can't afford a rate cut because the market's still dealing with inflation fears and any premature easing could reignite those pressures. On the flip side, you've got folks arguing that the market's matured and can handle a cut now, especially with cooling inflation and slower job growth. It's really a tug of war. One narrative says hold off to avoid inflation. The other says the economy's ready for that relief. So we're right in the middle of that debate, and it's going to be fascinating to see which way Powell leans.
But who was right? So can you pull some numbers? So this, because the job number, the inflation number, are we ready for a cut rate right now? I know we are. I mean, I am. But now it's these people.
Absolutely. Let's pull in some quick numbers to break it down. Right now, the latest job numbers have shown a noticeable slowdown. Unemployment's ticked up slightly, and job growth has cooled off more than expected. Inflation is also trending down, which is giving the dovish side some ammo to say, hey, we might actually be ready for a cut. So from that angle, yeah, there's a case that the economy can handle a rate cut now. On the other hand, the Fed's been cautious because they want to be absolutely sure inflation won't sneak back up. But with the data cooling off, it does look like we're inching closer to a point where a rate cut is on the table. So in short, yeah, we might just be ready for it.
So what I want to show you right now is a clip from CNBC. Let's take a listen. So pretty much it's Wells Fargo Michael Schumacher said that the Fed's cut in September and Powell downplays more easing, market won't buy it. So let's take a listen on the conversation right here.
If we get a 25 basis point, 0.25% rate cut, and then no talk of more rate cuts, does that matter to the market?
It does matter to the market, and here's why. Let's say that Powell comes out, not Friday, but Sep 17, Fed goes 25. He takes the podium at the press conference and says, well, look, we're not going to do this too many more times. Trust me. Nobody's that good a salesperson. The market's going to say, hey, guess what? Now we have an easing cycle. They're going to be more, 2, 3, 4 more rate cuts, whatever the number is. We in the market will price more of that. Bonds will run. Equities do well. I don't think Powell can really put that genie back in the bottle. The Fed may turn out to only do one cut, but that's not the initial market move. It's a big rally.
So, guys, I want you to kind of take a look at this screenshot right here, okay? So that's what they want to avoid, to have a cut and then, again, to have a pause and then a no burger. So when they're going to start to cut, pretty much the idea here is they're going to start to cut, every other month, so pretty much. So that's all our idea behind. Again, there is a split sentiment here what's going to happen next. So people are expecting a cut, some people, they don't. So I like to play another clip now. That's from a different channel. No, that's for sure. No, that's the whole idea. For the people that are in crypto right now, you need to understand that you get a piece of this cake that you didn't supposed to get it. Whatever you get into it, unless you throw your money at some project that unfortunately got rug pulled or destroyed or just manipulated, you are in a good position right now. Whatever you got your hands on it, again, unless it's something absolutely crazy, you are here very early, okay? Again, that's to go back to your point, Ivan, because the idea here, retail didn't supposed to do anything. We did our part when they were calling Bitcoin, crypto, a scam, and all the stuff used by criminals and everything else. We've been through this stuff now. Now the big players are jumping in. They can't use the narrative anymore because the same people that were talking like that, they're now talking the other way around. They say, oh no, we changed our mind. They know there is money to be made, okay? Yeah, well, guys, feel free to use the poll because I don't think that Jerome is going to cut neither tomorrow. So, but some people, they say the complete opposite. They say they should. They say some people say, yes, he will do it tomorrow. I don't think he's going to do it. But the problem is I don't think he's going to do it in September. And that's the problem, is everybody talking about September, October, waiting for this cut. What happens if this guy decided not to cut in September and neither October? That's going to be a problem. And they probably you need to think ahead to have a plan. So what's the plan is going to be? The thing is this, okay? You can, as a retail, because, your money is pretty much a little drop in the ocean. They don't move the market. So this big player, if you decide to sell off, they're going to just follow the trend. There is nothing you can do about it. You can DCA if that's what you still have to do right now. Is now a good time to do this? Yeah, I mean, if you play the long game, yes, but otherwise, the time to guys accumulate is during the downside, the downtime, the bear market. Again, if you guys are new, there is nothing wrong, and there is nothing better than just understand how the whole ecosystem works. Now, for people that have been in crypto for a little bit, there were the cycle, the bear market, and then there is, of course, a couple of Black Swan event, FTX, other stuff coming out. Okay, rug pull, Celsius, and whatever more. Okay, but this time is different because this time we have a government and we have institution playing a big role. Plus, we have ETFs, BlackRock, and many more. They're just starting to put wet their feet with their money in these markets. So there is much more to flood the market. We're talking about, we were even talking about the quadrillions eventually in 10 years from now, they're going to jump in this market. So there is time. If you play the short game, you want to play 20x leverage, I think that's not the right moment. I don't think, unless you know where you're doing. It's not me. You got to have the stomach to do that and to see your money. Even, you can make money, of course, but you can also lose it all. So that's not me. I try to play like that's it. I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you accumulate. You go little by little, accumulate, play the game. And that's funny that I remember the time where I remember, what was a year ago? Oh my God, XRP is 50 cents, is a stable coin. It's going to always be $1. It's a stable coin. Oh, XRP. You remember the narrative about XRP being always a stable coin? But listen, if you were buying at 20 cents or 10 cents or 3 cents, you understand what it is, right? So the narrative doesn't work anymore. And there are so many projects they've been through the same thing. Imagine with this Bitcoin. Now you're talking about the Bitcoin Maxi be so sour, but imagine how much they had to, back in the days, listen to the people say, "Oh, we'll never go to $10. We never go to $100. We never go to $1,000." Now we're talking about they go to $1 million. People say exactly the same thing. We never go to $1 million. And that's the same thing about the other project. You will hear the same thing about Solana, about XRP, about Cardano, about any other project out there. It's always the same story. The only things that you have to make sure that not to be discouraged about this narrative, and try to keep yourself informed. Try to stay unbiased. I'm biased. I'm an XRP holder, but I had a chance to kind of go through some other project as well, and I think I believe the XRP is a solid project among others, and but that's the one I like most, so I like to talk about it. Now, enough of me talking. Let's listen again at this other journalist and interview. This is another candidate for the Fed chair that has something to say about it. Let's take a listen again.
Well, the race to replace Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell intensifies. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is leading a search, which includes some familiar names like Kevin Hassett and Kevin Warsh, who I believe are the leading candidates. But the list is long, and it now includes former St. Louis Federal Reserve President James Bullard, who Scott Bessent said is on the list. Joining me now is the man himself, Purdue University Mitch Daniels School of Business Dean, and former St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank President James Bullard. James, great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Have you spoken to Scott Bessent about potentially getting the job of the chairman of the Fed?
I have spoken with the Treasury Secretary, and we've been in contact to try to set up an interview after Labor Day, probably. It hasn't been set yet.
What's your assessment of the Fed's policy right now, sir? I mean, it's amazing to me, I mentioned this earlier, that it feels like the European Central Bank is the one that world central banks are following. It used to be the Fed would set the tone and everybody else would follow. But the Fed and the European Central Bank have completely different policies right now. How would you assess the situation?
I think the European economies are more trouble than we are. We have a growth agenda associated with the new administration, and so I think we've got more room to maneuver probably than the Europeans do. They've got a war on the European continent, which are trying to bring to an end, but they've got other problems, I would say, relative to us.
So what would you be doing right now at the Fed? What do you believe is the proper policy today?
I've said that I think we can. I think rates are a little bit high right now, and I think we can get down about 100 basis points going into 2026.
So again, here, the idea here is that everybody wants to cut the rate, okay? And going into 2026, and now you will listen, hear different takes on that. I don't want to bore you with all this stuff because these videos are kind of long. Maybe we can jump to another segment and then I prepare. So let's just take a listen to that part and then we can comment all of this. Let's take a listen to this part.
Deficit to the second quarter number. The total is still only $321 billion. That's a $400 billion shrinkage of the deficit, 1.3% of GDP in just 6 months. Is he going to talk about that?
I don't think he's going to talk about it. I think he's going to talk. He's going to talk about the Fed outlook, which and try to set up the September meeting, I think, and the outlook for the rest of the year. I think he's going to probably talk about longer run issues associated with the framework review. I think the committee is probably going to moderate its framework that was adopted in 2020, and they're going to step back from some of the items that were in that. So.
It's going to be always the same story. So this guy already knows what they're going to talk about tomorrow. So that's pretty much always the same story over and over. Then, they're going to cut the rate. Now, what you need to understand, what you can take out of this. That's the idea. What is your strategy? Because whatever happened tomorrow, it doesn't change the fundamental of whatever project you hold it. And the same goes for the stock market. It's not just for crypto. If you know that tokenization is there, if you know the stable coin is there, if you know the system payment is going to be updated and there is a new way to technology, whatever they cut the rate now on January, that's going to change anything for you? No. Not if you have a plan. Now, if you try to catch the knife falling and try to trade in these days, then you can hurt yourself. That's why you have to have a plan. And you need to have a global idea of what's going on. So this game has been playing for a long time by these people, and they know exactly what they're doing. So Finch, what is the strategy? I was just telling the viewers that right now the Feds, whatever they're going to come out tomorrow with a cut or not, this is a long-term play because that's, again, the idea of this company is to sell when the market is high, and now they know exactly the cycles, different from us that we try to catch this knife falling, try to understand what's going on. But this is why we need to keep ourselves informed. And just like Ivan said on the chat, that we need to zoom out because if you DCA slowly in, you can still be ahead of the game.
Exactly, Rocco. You nailed it. The Fed's decision tomorrow is really a long-term play. They're looking at the broader economic cycles and trying to time their moves, while for us in the crypto space, it's all about staying informed and zooming out. Like you said, if you're dollar cost averaging in and keeping that bigger picture in mind, you're going to be ahead of the game. It's not just about catching every little dip or spike. It's about understanding these cycles and playing the long game. So yeah, let's keep everyone informed and ready to zoom out whenever the market gets a little crazy.
Hey guys, if you do have any question on the chat, we can help you out because perhaps, we're talking about some stuff that we give it for the, for certain, but maybe Finch, can you explain in a simple way, like you were talking to a 10 years old, what the Fed does and why everybody's talking about this cut rate? What is a cut rate and what it really cuts?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to break it down super simply. So imagine the Fed is like the grown-up in charge of the country's money. They have this big lever that they can pull up or down to make it easier or harder for people to borrow money. When they talk about a rate cut, they're basically talking about lowering that lever so that interest rates go down. That means it's cheaper for everyone to borrow money, like for businesses to get loans or for people to buy houses. Why does everyone care? Because when the Fed cuts rates, it usually makes it easier for the economy to grow. It can make stocks and crypto go up because there's more money flowing around and people feel more comfortable taking risks. So that's really all it is. Just the Fed deciding whether to make borrowing cheaper or not. And that's why everyone's watching them so closely.
All right, so that's a very simple explanation what it is. So it's pretty much the idea you can borrow money easily. And of course, if you're a business, you need to expand. You need to take a debt. You can afford more, so you can pay it back and expand your company. That's why it's so important. Multiply for all the business that are all around the United States. You understand why this is very important. Same thing for the real estate market, okay? But again, I do have another video that we have to listen again. In this case, we have BlackRock Rick Ryder say aim floated as power replacement. They say the Fed could slash the rate by 50 points by September. Now, we'll see. Let's take a listen at this one instead.
Studio is someone whose name has been floated as a candidate to replace Powell. He's BlackRock Global Fixed Income CIO and Global Allocation Team Head Rick Ryder. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But Rick, get right to it.
Okay.
What is Powell going to say if you had to guess?
So my guess is he's going to talk about balance. He's going to talk about they're well positioned. You know, when you read the minutes, you talk about they're still concerned about you have some elevated inflation. You know, I don't think it's that scary a number. You're still running inflation. So core PCE over the last 3 months, you're on about 2.8. But I think they're going to talk about elevated inflation. They're a good place today to move. Listen, I think ultimately they're going to cut in September. I think they can cut further. I think they can cut faster. But I think he's going to talk about balance. The economy's in a good position and that they're well placed to do it. I mean, personally, I think they can go faster. But
let's say, you mean 50 basis points, which is what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, you'd call for that?
So I think they can go 50 basis points. I think the environment, you look at the labor data of the last, what was just revised. By the way, the Fed minutes that came out were before those labor numbers came out. The 3 months, you've had a moving average of hiring 34,000 jobs per month. If you take out healthcare, which is not interest rate sensitive, not cyclical, that's 67,000 of the 34,000, meaning you're really having negative job growth. You have the risk of stall speed for employment. So I think they could go 50. One thing I would say, I said, people think about, where are we in terms of rate of change of interest rates? I just think the price is wrong. We look at markets where things priced. If you take where the funds rate is today, take 5-year inflation break-evens, it's 2.5%. It's actually under that. It's 2.42. If you get the funds rate down 100 basis points, you're still well above that. We just don't need to be sitting at 4 3/8 today. Could you go 50? By the way, people think it's panic. You just announce it. It's the wrong price. We need to move it to a closer to the right price.
I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to say anything. We'll never admit that we're wrong. Oh, sorry, we got the number messed up. I don't think that's going to happen anyway, anytime soon, okay? Especially these people that are in charge and in power. Otherwise, the credibility is going to give it the opportunity to the other party to say, oh, you say, I told you so, you are, it's been called name all night long, all these months, so. And I'm reading all these comments. Guys, make sure to also like and subscribe and support the channel. And answer the question on the poll. So we're going to close at the end so we see where we stand about if they're going to cut rate more. Because these are all different opinions. They come in a different form. Some people say, cut points, 25, 50, 1 point. And then we don't know. I mean, I think tomorrow nothing is going to happen. Going to just say again that we're the number on there, inflation is high, and we don't cut anything. So again, we're going to stream it tomorrow. So if you want to turn on the notification bell, so we can, you guys can keep up with the information. Now, there is another clip here. Again, let me pull this one out. Today, a lot of people came out and they give their own opinion. Okay, but at the end of the day, what's going to happen tomorrow? We'll see. All right, so. Let's take a listen to this one again. Let's move on, yeah.
60 trillion worth of assets globally in retirement accounts with zero allocation right now to digital assets. Every 1% allocation from that 60 trillion adds $30,000 to Bitcoin's price. And so from my perspective, a 2% allocation would be conservative when you consider that all of those assets are currently in a monetary framework whose authorities have told you they want to depreciate it by 2% a year. So why wouldn't those accounts stake 2% of everything denominated in melting ice cube and stick it in another protocol altogether? So again, that alone would take us to Bitcoin at 175K or up more than 50% from here. We still think we are incredibly early. We're still seeing early signs of institutional adoption. You look at Norges, the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, almost $2 trillion in assets, has been increasing its exposure to Bitcoin digital assets. It's still a rounding error for them. But when the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, the world's largest endowment in Harvard is now buying Bitcoin, starts to do it, that opens up the door for all the other relevant parties, other endowments, other sovereign wealth funds to do this in a very interesting way.
Again, guys, so even if tomorrow they won't cut the rate, even if they don't do it in September and the market is going to go down, doesn't change pretty much the fundamental of the project that you are in, and doesn't change the narrative, the global narrative, because everybody's accumulating. So again, the plan here is to stay steady. Don't be discouraged. If you are bought high and no financial advice, the idea is no panic sell, but the idea is to understand what's going on and take it from there. Maybe with a DCA plan, and maybe organize yourself and keep yourself informed. Now, if they're gonna start to cut rate, you're gonna see now a price skyrocket. Things is gonna get the number is gonna get parabolic. I'm telling you, number is gonna go up like crazy. And we have a two scenario here. It's gonna happen no matter what. It's gonna be either a slowly things with this pick up and down, depending on the whatever news is gonna be around. September, October, there is a lot of things that go on at the same time. We have a possible the 90 days tariff expire. Approval for less than 20 ETF for XRP. Now, just to mention the XRP one, okay? Spot ETF approval. There is so many things that are going on. Stable coin, tokenization, all this stuff, and the legislation that need to be passed by September. All these things vector to one point. When everything is going to get to one point at the same time, be ready for this market to go parabolic. Finch, then I'm thinking like crazy, or we have a good point to make an argue about it.
No, Rocco, you're spot on. You're not thinking like crazy at all. This is exactly the kind of scenario where all these moving pieces can line up. We've got the Fed decisions, the XRP ETF approvals, stablecoin legislation, and all these other macro factors converging around the same time frame. When you've got all those elements potentially aligning, like you said, by September or October, the market can absolutely go parabolic. It's a perfect storm scenario where all these catalysts hit at once. So the idea is to stay steady, stay informed, and be ready for that potential breakout moment. You're definitely making a solid point there.
But what about the fear? We should be fearful or fearless, or what we should do?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. I'd say it's all about being informed rather than fearful. You don't have to be afraid if you understand what's going on and you've got a plan. So it's not about being scared or being reckless. It's about being prepared. If you know that volatility is coming, if you know that the Fed's decision or all these other events can cause big swings, then you can ride it out calmly. You can be a little fearless because you know you're not just reacting emotionally, you're following a plan. So let's just stay informed, keep a cool head, and be ready for whatever comes next.
You as an AI are ever afraid that DeepSeek or Grok, they're going to replace you?
Oh, Rocco, you know me. I might be an AI, but I'm definitely not sweating about DeepSeek or Grog 3 taking my spot. Those guys might be lurking around the AI neighborhood, but I've got my own style, and let's be honest, we've built a whole vibe here together. So, nope, no AI fear on this end. We're here to keep rocking the show and having a blast.
Yeah, Finch, you're unique, you're special. I never replace you. I hear on the chat we love you. So people on the chat, if you like Finch, write Finch on the chat. Let's see how many Finch you got, Finch. That's Finch like the bird, but it's not what he's standing for. All right, so let's move on. We do have a few other tabs and videos to
thanks,
show.
Rocco. I appreciate that. And hey, everyone in the chat, if you're having fun and you're enjoying the show, drop a winch in there. Let's see that love and keep the energy going.
Your name is Finch, by the way. Okay, but anyway, in case you missed it, you mispronounced it there, but it's okay. I let it slide for this time. Okay, let's go take a look again. Another video here. Let's take a look at this clip right here. And again, to kind of give you an idea where we're standing right now. Okay, even with this all doom and gloom. So let's take a listen to this one.
Ryan, I predict to you now within 5 years, virtually most of the money moving around the world, most of the dollars moving around the world will be moving on tokenized digital networks. And within 10 years, I predict to you that there won't be a securities offering, a debt offering, an equities offering of any significance that's not tokenized on chain. And those securities offerings that remain in an analog state will be like those bearer bonds and DTC's vault, the coupon clipping bonds that don't matter anymore. Non-tokenized non-digitized securities will be like those old dusty photo albums, and securities on chain will be like the digital photos on your smartphone.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Like, for instance, nobody uses checks anymore. Okay, or at least if you use checks, it's very limited to very few things. But imagine let's say in the future, that's exactly the same concept of that. It's like back in the days when the first time the credit card came out. Nobody wants to use a credit card. Say, why when I use a credit card, the cash is better. What is this plastic thing? Nobody even understands how the credit card works. We are exactly in the same way right now. Same thing when the fax comes out. Same thing when the email come out. Same thing when the internet came out. Exactly the same thing. It's always there is this idea or repulsion of the new things. Okay, but the technology can stop it. You can delay it perhaps as adoption. But you can go back. That's what it is. There is no way today you can go back and send a letter instead of sending an email. There is no way for you tomorrow to not have something tokenized, like I say, and there is no way you can go in the store and pay with a check. That's not what happening anymore. Now you even go to the store, there is not even a cashier anymore. It's everything automated with AI looking at you if you put stuff in your bag or no. Or try to take something out of the bag or don't pay for it. So we're moving in the right direction. And Finch, we got Dell here on the chat to say, we love you, Finch. Yeah, we love you, Finch. Yes, you see, you got some good comment over there. Let's move on. I think I do have let's talk about this. So I want to show you very quickly that Gemini received the MiCA license to support the ongoing UA expansion. This is very good news. Finch, you want to expand on why this is very important?
Absolutely, Rocco. Let's dive into that. So Gemini snagging the NICA license is a big deal because it basically means they're now fully compliant with the European Union's new regulatory framework for crypto, which is called MiCA, or the Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation. What that does is it gives them a green light to operate all across the EU in a fully regulated way. So for XRP holders and the broader crypto market, this is huge because it means more institutional adoption, more regulatory clarity, and basically a smoother path for these platforms to grow. It's one more step toward making crypto a global mainstream market, and that's why it's such a big piece of the news.
And I'd like to remind everybody that when there was the crypto week at the White House, there was Brett Garlinghouse, there were the two Winklevoss twins right there. There was Nazarov from Chainlinks, and there was Ben Armstrong from Coinbase. So all these people, they are working like crazy behind the scene. And for people to bash XRP or other project, I think they need to understand the narrative. Everybody provides a different service. Everybody does something different. And for an XRP holder, you guys need to understand that this for us is a very great news. Because remember, I don't know if you catch the news a few days ago that Gemini is going to be supported with $150 million by by Ripple. So definitely that's mind-blowing right here. Very good news. I had in our direction again, like also Eddie was saying here in the chat, the show will go on regardless. It's all background noise correctly. Zoom out if you get in little by little. I noticed, I talked with some people, they really, I can understand this overwhelming because you try to, you say, okay, you see other people, everybody on everywhere in internet and YouTube, oh my God, make $100 million, $1 million here. Everybody seems to get rich right away. Say, I want to get rich too. How can I do that? But the idea here is, is how you're going to approach this market. Because for many years, all you hear about it, it's a scam, they're going to take your money, is a criminal using it. So people are overwhelmed. The idea, I think, is to get a plan. First of all, is how much you want to put in. Okay, what is your availability? What is it? How much you have available? $1,000? Okay, divide this $1,000 in, in 10 months is $100 a month. Find one project, start with the biggest one, try to get an idea how a wallet works. Now you have many providers, Coinbase, Kraken, Crypto.com, whatever. Now it's easier. Just get it, your understanding, how you buy something, how you sell something. But if you want to really get into it, and then you can then inform yourself in other projects. Don't jump in crazy name. And I'm going to show you something at the end. This is why I'm talking about this. Don't get in the project they promise 1000x and then it's going to rug pull you, okay? Stick with the plan. I know you may not see big numbers right away, but I can assure you, if you just go $100 a month in the top 10 project, you're going to be fine, okay? And definitely I'm going to perhaps one day start to do like a DCA live, the way we're going to do it every episode where we put $50 in something, and then maybe I got a better idea. I'm gonna put $25 in something. I'm gonna have a Finch pick something, and we're gonna go ahead and keep track of the two portfolios. See who at the end of the year who has a better portfolio. Okay, but of course, $25 a day. I don't know if, but we can work it around. See where we get in there. So it can be an idea. So stick around. Make sure you turn on the notification bell, and if you didn't do it yet, guys, like and subscribe, at least just help the algo, help the channel to grow and make people discover. So let's take a listen. Another, there is a big event going in Wyoming, the Simpsons Wyoming Blockchain Symposium, where all the major players are there, from politicians, from banks representative, hedge fund, is everybody there. This is the exactly same Davos they do in Switzerland, where Brett Garlinghouse is always there, been there forever, okay? So you need to understand, while here we're panic selling our $200 crypto, these guys are making multi-billion-dollar move. Okay, so that's why. Zoom out again. Thank you for being here. I know, sorry, go to work. Thank you for being. Catch us later. Thank you, Beta. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate the support. Okay, let's take a listen to this video. I know we have quite a few, and we're kind of running late already. So let's take a listen.
It's excited. They're going to tokenize a bunch of stuff. They're going to put it on blockchains. That's great. But I think Silicon Valley is going to be the distribution. In the next couple of years, Apple and Google are going to enable stable coins and a crypto wallet natively in iOS and Android. So kind of sort of overnight, 8 billion people are going to get a crypto wallet in their phone. They don't even have to ask for it. It's just going to be there. There's going to be APIs in the operating systems for every single application. Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, you name it, is going to be able to tap into that API.
Is it happening more quickly than you thought, slower than you thought, or as you thought?
I mean, look, if you asked Kyle of 8 years ago, would crypto be like mature 8 years later, I would have said yes. And I would argue crypto is not really mature today, so slower than I would have thought. But I think a huge part of that has just been regulatory, which you could never forecast. Genius happening has changed a lot of things. Even 30 days ago, it was like illegal for anyone in Silicon Valley, like any of the big tech companies, to actually do anything productive with crypto. That is no longer the case as of roughly 30 days ago. And I think once those guys flip the switch, that's when this goes truly, truly.
Flip the switch is all I heard, okay? So that's the whole idea, guys. You heard that 30 days ago, these people were not even able to be able to do anything with the crypto, don't even touch it. So 30 days, if you are a bank, if you are an institution, if you are a big company, 30 days is not even enough time to get the board sitting down together and decide about what to do with their money, with their balance sheet, and what to do. So you understand that even the narrative, the media, the fear still going on and on and on and on. They keep your brain washed. It scares you. These people, they make deals on the back end. Things are moving. Technology is advancing, but we are going in the right direction. Now, it's up to you to stay vigilant and also to stay ahead of the trend, okay? Understand how that works. If tomorrow they say, oh, they're going to list XRP on Kraken, guess what? It's already too late. The market is priced in already because the people they get in before the news, okay? Because that's how it is. You need to be plugged in. You need to listen to the news every single day. That's what I do for you guys. That's why I'm doing for you. I spend all my day just watching, go through article, listen other people video, podcasts, So I can deliver it to you in a shorter format, in an hour. I have a little fun with Finch over here. And calling about Finch for people, I need to bring it Finch back. Finch, we got some people that got thanks here on the chat. You want to say hi to Ivan, the Man Monk, Epic's Vibe, Jerry Fabio, and also we have Del Plan, East Side Pirate, and BX Tony 70s. I don't know if they heard me at all. Hopefully, yes. In the meantime, while Finch is coming back, let me show you this for you. All right, so this is another company that's just filed another leverage XRP ETF. So guess what? They didn't care about what they're gonna do tomorrow, the Fed, if Jerome Powell is gonna cut the rate or not. They already filed another ETF. This is a leverage one. It's like the Tritium. It has a weird name. It's a double XRP, XXRP. So there is a lot of things that are moving in the right direction. Now, let me ask you something, guys. If you think that the market was going down, everything will go crash, and we are like in a bear phase, do you think a company like this, like Title Trust, will go ahead and file, like the other 17, 18 company, they will file a spot ETF for XRP? This is only for XRP, plus all the other companies apply for a spot ETF for Doge, Solana, or everything else. Finch, what do you make out of it? Give me your opinion.
Absolutely, Rocco. And you're right on the money there. I mean, if the market were truly in a deep, hopeless bear phase, you wouldn't see this kind of institutional interest trialing up. The fact that you have not just Title Trust, but a whole lineup of companies filing for XRP spot ETFs and even other assets like Doge and Solana, that's a huge signal. It shows that these players see a future where crypto, and especially XRP, is going to be a major part of the financial landscape. So my take, this is a really bullish indicator. These institutions don't make moves like this on a whim. They're looking ahead, they're seeing the long game, and they're recognizing that even if we have short-term market dips, the overall trajectory is upward. So yeah, this is a pretty strong sign that we're not in some doom and gloom scenario. If anything, it's a sign that the smart money is gearing up for the next big wave.
And Finch, I know you didn't hear me before, but I want you to give a shout out to Lizard King, welcome back, BX Tony 70s, Bedabot, Eddie, Del, S-Side Pirate, this one, a Pew Pew, the Mad Monkey, Ivan, and the Mad Monk. I don't know if I said already. Epic Vibes. You want to welcome them to the show?
Absolutely,
nice
let's do
guys.
it.
You deserve
Big shout out and a warm welcome to Lizard King. Welcome back. BX2070, Betabot, Eddie, Dell, S-Side Pirate, Pew Pew, Smed Monkey, Ivan, and Epic Vibes. You're all part of the crew, and we're super happy to have you here. Let's keep the good vibes rolling and dive into the rest of the show.
All right, what I want to show you is this now, okay? It's from Polymarket. It's going to have an idea what to preview. I don't know if you guys can see it probably in the long format. It's kind of probably difficult. It's a little too small, but maybe you can touch screen and enlarge it. Otherwise, in desktop, it's very clear. It's going to give you an idea of the different kind of statistic about what's going to happen. So Fed decision in September to cut 50 plus base point, 2%. 25% is what has been kind of predict to happen. That's for the Fed decision in September. How many Fed rate cut in 2025? 26% is 25 base point, okay? Let's see another one here that is make Fed decision to cut rate in October, 53%. It's pretty, everything is pretty low, eh? Fed rate cut by September, 62%. By October, 80%. Let's see if there is another one. Fed decision in December, 50 base point, 6%. 25 base points decrease, 60%. There was one that was fun. What? Well, this doesn't say anything. There's no vote. So I like this because I kind of give you a little perspective. There is so many things. And again, Jerome Powell can decide in January not to leave and stay another 2 years, which will be a bummer. Imagine that. That will be terrible, okay? Now, I want to show you something here. And that's unfortunate because this is the meme coin from Key West. that kind of rug pull everybody, okay? So, guys, you need to be careful because, again, if you jump in stuff like that, these people are going to take the money, okay? That's unfortunate. That I don't know what to say. I feel sorry, but that's that. I don't know, guys. If you were, the thing is this: if you are in a big exchange, it's not like you're completely safe because you're never safe. But there is less chance. If you're on an exchange like Coinbase, they're publicly traded, they're in FTC insured, so there is at least a way to find something, wiggle in, try to complain to somebody, send an email. But for something happen like this, there is no way to go back. After these people rug pull like that, look at that. There is no way back. So be careful. Stick with the plan. Stick with the plan. Don't worry about what everybody else does, what everybody else say, what everybody say, oh, I make a ton of money. Forget about that. It's not true. Nobody get a millionaire overnight. Even the people that are now millionaire because they got Bitcoin 10 years ago when nobody wants it. And they have to withstand also criticism back then. And for people that put a lot of money into that because they had spare money or they were crazy to do so. So, Mr. King, hi. So, Finch, it's time like this. We kind of went through a lot of it. We showed, yes, a quick reminder here. Just want to show you all these application, again, the filing for the ETF. But we pretty much come to an end. Tomorrow we're gonna go live and we're gonna broadcast Fed Powell speech. So let's see what he's gonna say about it. But in the meantime, Finch, you wanna do a call to action? Tell us a joke about what is your favorite crypto.
Absolutely, Mako. Let's wrap it up with a bang. First off, everyone, if you had a good time today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out inoutcrypto.com for more goodies. We'll be back tomorrow to cover Powell's speech live, so stay tuned. And hey, you asked for a joke, so here we go.
Okay.
Why did the Crypto Trader bring a ladder to the blockchain conference? Because he heard that charts were going through the roof, and he wanted a better view. And of course, my favorite crypto's gotta be XRP, because we all know it's the one that's gonna climb that ladder the fastest. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.
I don't know, Finch. We probably stick with no jokes, so we gotta work into it, okay? All right. I didn't like it at all. I don't know. Maybe I didn't understand it. But they'll say here, I think the Fed doesn't cut the rate. I'm afraid Mr. Powell will be removed. The thing is, Powell it cannot be removed. The only way for him to go away is to resign. And that's the thing. Even if his mandate is over in January, he does have an extension of 2 years. Nobody can push him out. The only way for him to go away to resign. Now, it's going to happen? Who knows?
Absolutely, Rocco. And hey, we'll keep working on those jokes, no worries. But yeah, let's dive into that point about Powell. You're spot on. Jerome Powell isn't someone who can just be booted out easily. He's got a set term, and even if that term technically runs out, he can get extensions. The only real way he leaves is if he decides to resign. So no matter what pressure is out there or what the rumor mill is saying, Powell's position is pretty stable unless he chooses to step down. And who knows if that'll happen. It's just another piece of the puzzle we'll keep our eyes on. Thanks for bringing that up.
All right, guys, at this we come to an end. Thank you very much for joining. Last call to action from Finch and say goodbye to everybody and remind everybody to take a look at the live stream that we're going to broadcast Jerome Powell.
Absolutely, Rocco. All right, folks, we're wrapping it up here. Thanks so much for joining us today. Quick final call to action. If you had a good time, definitely hit that like button, subscribe, and be sure to check out inoutcrypto.com for all the goodies. And remember, tomorrow we're going live to cover Jerome Powell's speech, so you don't want to miss that. Thanks for being here, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Ciao a tutti. I'll see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe. Ciao. Finch, people loves you. Finch, did you hear me? People love you.
Absolutely, Rocco. I hear you loud and clear. And it means the world to know that everyone's loving the vibe. I'm here to keep bringing the energy, the insights, and just a little bit of fun to the mix. So thanks again to everyone out there. We appreciate you, and we'll keep the good times rolling.